Also tonight, we're learning the Marion County Prosecutor's Office is now charging a juror who served on the trial of a mom accused of killing her young daughter. The trial of this lady, Toni McClure, ended in a mistrial within the last 24 hours. Now, a juror in that case is facing a charge of indirect contempt of court after being accused of having an improper conversation with a witness outside the courtroom. McClure is accused of starving her 5-year-old daughter, Kinsley Welty. She is scheduled to stand trial again come August. If convicted of murder in the case, prosecutors are seeking a sentence of life without parole.
Bloomington police are searching for a suspect after a shooting in front of 4 kids on the city's north side. Investigators say a man fired 7 to 8 rounds into a white GMC SUV after getting into an argument with the driver. It happened in the 1000 block of North Summit Street Monday night. 3 adults were with the 4 kids in the SUV. No one was hurt. Police have not released any info about the suspect.
In Beech Grove now, a woman is pushing for more protection for victims of domestic violence, and she's getting help from a state lawmaker.
It's in honor of Jerry Maines, who police say was shot and killed by her husband last year.
Our Jenna Webster tonight explains some of the changes that they're looking to make.
This is all still very early on in the process to get any sort of legislation drafted, but it all surrounds protective orders and getting those approved and signed faster.
Some people say it's just a piece of paper, but even if it saves one person.
Heather Curlin wants to help keep domestic violence victims safe. Her cousin Jerry Maines was shot and killed, police say, by her husband just days after she filed a protection order on Christmas, alleging he threatened multiple times to kill her. Heather feels a holiday delay in approving that order left Jerry vulnerable. In January, 13 News featured her push to create Jerry's Law, where protective orders go into effect immediately. Her petition has more than 1,700 signatures. And now House Representative Julie McGuire is looking to introduce new legislation.
We need to have acknowledgement of these when they come in, because domestic violence doesn't get a holiday, right? It's still going to happen. It doesn't care what day of the year it is. And so we need to be able to have some protections in place.
McGuire is in the research stage with the Legislative Services Agency, looking at laws in other states. We'll get feedback from the courts and domestic violence advocates. She's hopeful the legislation will be well received in the State House and help make a difference in honor of Jerry. In Indianapolis, Jenna Webster, 13 News.
5:05, clouds have arrived here in central Indiana, and that is a sign of that chance of storm we have for later tonight.
Yeah, Angela's here in the Weather Center tracking any developments.
Yes, and we have several days in a row that we'll be dealing with storm chances. What you need to know, no washouts. Just check the radar before outdoor plans. It is summer, and it's starting to feel like summer. We've got some big summertime heat in the 7-day forecast that I'll have for you in just a minute. And mentioned the cloud cover. We can see that moving in over Hamilton County. We had lots of sunshine earlier today. Clouds are starting to thicken in advance of that storm chance returning. 78 in Indianapolis and Muncie, Bloomington as well. We did make it to 81 in Columbus, Richmond, checking in at 77. Our fever back at home. That is a 7:30 tip this evening. It's going to be a warm evening. We'll be in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees, and for the most part dry. We do have some storms on radar across parts of Illinois that continue to fall apart, keeping an eye on a couple of severe storms across the southern sections of Wisconsin. Local view is pretty quiet. Severe threat for now is up to our north and west. I'll have the timeline for you in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Angela. Well, for the first time, we're hearing from the man just appointed to regulate Indiana's utilities. Recently, that commission approved a rate increase from AES.
And the move of that increase prompted the governor to remove the chairman who oversaw that decision and put a new man in charge, and that is Anthony Swinger. Our Emily Longnecker spoke with him today.
Yeah, the new chairman of the IURC, Anthony Swinger, says Governor Braun called him Monday afternoon and offered him the new position. Swinger says he accepted and is honored by the opportunity. Now, this comes just a week after the IURC approved a new rate increase for AES customers, something that is going to raise people's electricity bills. Governor Braun has called that unacceptable and asked that the decision be revisited.
It will be up to the IURC, the same commission who approved the rate increase, to now decide if it should rethink that decision.
I'm not aware of any motion that's been filed at this point, but any party would have 20 days to file such a motion.
The Indiana Office of Utility Consumer Counselor, the OUCC, the state agency that serves as a consumer advocate for utility customers, says it plans to do so and asked the IURC to re-examine its decision.
Whenever a party files a motion for reconsideration, it has to make specific legal arguments. We will review those arguments, the commission will review those arguments, the utility will have the chance to respond, and I believe 60 days is the window for the decision to be made.
Swinger knows something about how the process works. He used to be with the OUCC, which is why he says he recused himself from voting in the AES rate increase decision, something he said he's likely to do again should the IURC decide to re-examine their decision to allow AES to increase rates. Tuesday, Governor Braun called the IURC's decision to allow the rate increase a disappointment.
Every time you get someone on any commission, you elect them. They either stick with what you think they're going to do, and if they don't, in this case, it was easy to make an adjustment.
That adjustment removing former Republican Senator Andy Zay as the IURC chairman, replacing him with Swinger. When asked how he would stay unbiased in considering whether to rehear the AES rate case, knowing the governor's feelings about the rate increase, Swinger said the commission would follow the law.
That's what we're going to do.
And coming up tonight at 6, we're going to hear from a consumer watchdog group that doesn't agree with that AES rate increase either, but they also have concerns about the governor's actions and words in the wake of that increase. We'll hear more about that tonight at 6 at the Indiana State House. Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Indiana Congressman Andre Carson now introducing 2 bills aimed at regulating the rapidly growing AI data center industry. So let's look at them. One measure would place a moratorium on new AI data center construction nationwide until federal safeguards are put into place. A second bill would require greater transparency and community input before new facilities are built. Carson says AI does have the potential to create jobs, but warns that protections are needed to keep costs from rising and to prevent harm to workers, to neighborhoods, and to our environment.
Well, race cars usually have the spotlight at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but today it was all eyes on EMS vehicles.
The racing capital of the world hosted a procession to honor 37 EMS professionals who died in the line of duty last year. This is an annual tradition, and it stretches across 24 states. At the heart of the journey is an ambulance that carries a Tree of Life memorial and a replica shown at each stop.
On race days, the Brickyard represents what EMS crews do best.
This track is famous for speed, precision, and teamwork, things every EMS crew understands intimately. But today, the most important vehicle on these grounds isn't built for the racetrack. It's this tribute, carrying the names of our fallen heroes.
The Tree of Life will stay sealed until its unveiling at the National Service. That's in Virginia on July 17th.
Coming up, ordering a special election.
The small town where a mistake is sending voters back to the polls. It's ahead at 5:30. First at 5, though, feeling the heat.
Yep, we have the scorching temperatures that millions of Americans are dealing with on this Wednesday night. Eli?
The Indiana Fever are back on the floor here at Gainbridge, taking on the Phoenix Mercury once again. A little bit of a drama-filled Monday night. I'm going to have much more on that coming up at 13 Sports.